Although the job of being Secretary of State for Work and Pensions was something that I'd always thought for longer term in the future would be a great position for somebody like myself to aim for, I had no idea that it would come quite as soon or in quite the circumstances that it did. It was obviously at a key moment during the referendum campaign, quite a heated moment with Ian Duncan Smith choosing to resign. Amidst also a great big row going on about disability benefits and reforms to the disability support system. So in a sense, they were less than ideal circumstances. But that's the thing about becoming a minister. You don't choose how your career progresses and when a promotion might come. It's that phone call that comes from, in this case, it was 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, when obviously I'd seen the news the night before, and the Prime Minister rings me up the next morning and says, this is a job I'd like you to do. And very quickly, mentally, you have to drop everything that you'd been previously thinking about with regards to the Wales office. We were right in the middle of drafting a key piece of devolution legislation, which has now become the Wales Act. So I had my hands full in that department. But almost you've got to cut that off completely and then start thinking about the new job, the new role, and particularly the precise circumstances in front of us, which, as I said, wasn't particularly ideal at that time. One of the things I would always emphasise about any ministerial position is the need for teamwork and to build your team. That in two senses. One is to the team of officials and civil servants that you have around you. It's so important to build that rapport, not just with your private office, which is obviously is critical, but with the wider team of civil servants that you'll be mixing with day to day. Really build that sense of esprit de corps, and for them to feel that they are joint partners with you in whatever project that you are helping to deliver in government. But teamwork cuts another way as well, because you need to build your team with your junior ministers. And it sounds a very obvious point, but it's amazing the number of senior ministers, either because they don't have the time or because it just passes them by. They don't invest the time with the junior ministers. And particularly when you have a big department like the Department of Work and Pensions, having all of your team united around core set of goals, that's really important. I'd also advise any potential minister to actually have a think about what it is that they want to do, what it is that they'd want to change. Now, when you get promoted mid-term, you are actually in the middle of delivering a government programme, your manifesto commitments, so you're not starting from a blank sheet of paper, but nevertheless there will come along opportunities where you can exert your values and your influence. So it's always good to having thought about what it is that you could change if you had that opportunity. And the final point I'd make is about time management and not being afraid to say no, not being afraid to push back on the private office to free up time, because the one thing I found as a minister you get precious little time to do is actually just to sit back and think and reflect about the work in hand, which is really, really important. And I know it gets said time and time again, but it's something I certainly found, particularly when I went to DWP, was that just the volume of work and the intensity of the diary meant that there was very, very little time for, as I say, sitting back and thinking about and reflecting on the day-to-day priorities.